Okay, so guys, good afternoon. My name is Admir, and today I'm here to share our experiences with BIM in the construction market of the United Kingdom. And this will be shown experience of us and our customers, which are the construction companies. And if you like CVs, you can go ahead and read that. And if you want to contact me, you'll find the contact person there. But what you need to know about me, I'm a very practical person. So presentation today will be focused really on projects, how things get done. Hopefully there will be not many ifs and coulds. So I work for a beautiful company called PERI, which tries to be the leading partner for formwork and scaffolding worldwide. We're present all over the world. Here the closest office is close by in Senate. But we decided to share our experience from the UK because that's one of the most progressive markets when it comes to BIM, and one of the markets where our offering is the most advanced. First is a very an oldie but a goodie. I was actually considering not including this because this is a BIM conference, but a render. Is that BIM or not? Many of our customers think yes, and many of our customers still find value in a simple render. Why? Because it makes work tangible. It explains simple things to people who are not involved in BIM and digital construction. So it's very difficult to approach a person who doesn't control that technology and methodology with advanced solutions. So for him, basic is good. The other use case that we have is a provision of laser scanning and modeling of an industrial complex bundled together with provision of scaffolding. Here, one of our lessons is that scanning today, in terms of cost, has absolutely no difference to the good old measure and model approach. However, it delivers fantastic benefits in accuracy of understanding the structure in terms of dimensions and geometry, and provides, and this is a statement that I really like, certainty in delivery and execution. This provides us and our customers a very good opportunity to be better, to be faster. We can provide solutions that work faster. We can save on the duration of the project. So now if I can imagine such an industrial facility that operates at a profit of a couple hundred thousand sometimes euros per day, what kind of benefits one day of benefit brings? The major use case here for us is a recent high-rise project in London called South Key Plaza 4. It's a 56-story high-rise, and this is one of the first projects where we were involved with full BIM integration into the construction company's BIM workflow. Here we not only delivered the 3D model with the embedded information, but we also got involved into the process of BIM and digital construction. So one of the things that we actually did, we set up the information exchange points. We were present in collaborative reviews of the design together with other selected critical suppliers for the construction of that very complex building. And we deliver different renders and images that provided different benefits to the customer. Here, the typical BIM use case was proven. A very complex solution was understood in its entirety by our customer, the construction company. Furthermore, the typical use, they were able to avoid issues on site before they happen. For us, it was very interesting how innovative they used the model, and they spread the QR codes all around the construction site and used them to engage the site to gain different advantages when it comes to safety, efficiency, and risk management. Last but not least, again, one of the trivial things, but having that geometrical representation of very complex solutions, they were able to explain it to people who don't come from construction, people who are not experts in constructing such challenging structures. Couple examples of how that actually works on site. This QR code you can scan with your phone, and you can actually see what the guys on site could see. It's going to be repeated a couple of slides, so if you want to go ahead and see it, you can scan it and check that one out. So the first one was just a simple act of getting around a construction site. So this is a very constrained environment. Sometimes it's like a labyrinth. If you want to go somewhere, you really need to understand what are you doing, where are you going, and how you're going to get there. So there was a simple layout on info board with the layout of the core, and everybody who wanted to go somewhere could just pop a picture of a QR code and find his way to where he needs to be to do his job. Very simple, very effective. We actually had 180 people use that QR code on site. Of that, 80% were unique. Here also a nice example, side by side from the site, how they improved safety on site. On the right side, you see the model where that stair tower there is designed to a standard safety level, meaning nobody can fall off it. But when the safety engineer reviewed the model, he said, oh, no. This is a high-risk environment. We want to be above the standard. So if you see the picture, we actually created a full cage around their staircase so that nobody can fall down. And this was all done proactively. So there was no correction, additional deliveries, additional assemblies. Everything was done within the scope of the delivery and the first assembly. Second was efficiency. So as I said, the jump form is a very constrained environment in which movement of people, equipment, and materials has to be sequenced. It has to be like a time clock to be efficient. So normally, a construction company take about 4 to 7 weeks to figure out how everything works, that they get to full performance. Here, this was actually done using the 3D model, and they drastically shortened the learning curve of usage of this very complex piece of equipment on site. Last but not least, moving such a big 100-ton machine is a very critical operation. It requires operation of hydraulic devices, which are always a challenge on site because you need very good people, very good trained people, and using the 3D model, the customer, the construction company, was actually able to fully train the people to operate, and everybody knew where they need to stand at what time and what tasks do they have to do. Now, all these benefits are very good, but we engaging this particular construction company found out that they don't always use the same scope of BIM when they work with us, so we wanted to understand this better. So we went and talked to them and compared 2 different projects going on in London at the same time, very comparable. They had the same preconditions. They were perfect for BIM. The complexity was there. The 3D model was there. But for one, they only asked us for some small information, and they went off and did all the BIM modeling themselves. And on the other, the example that we show, they fully integrated us into the process. So we wondered, why is this so? So we talked to them and then told us one thing. Okay, the project that we did without BIM, there we had financial focus, and on the other side, we had quality focus. And let me explain this. Financial focus, there, both the construction company and the investor had a motivation to be financially cost effective. What they did, all the complexities were either managed, meaning they understood fully what's going on, or simplified. So they would either themselves managed it or they removed the complexity. With the South Key Plaza, the complexity of the structure was a little bit higher and the demands of the investor were extremely high. Thus, they could not avoid the complexity. They had to manage it. And that's why they integrated us together with other critical suppliers into their workflow in order to jointly develop the construction method that will be optimum on site. Now, we also took a look at different customers. We saw that they don't really act the same, and we found that only 2% by count of our customers are true digitizers. This means they won't talk to us if we cannot provide BIM and digital construction. 10% are digitally engaged. This means they will have BIM requests, but they will vary from project to project based on the requirements. And the 88%, they don't care about digital. Those are the guys who really still appreciate that simple render. What is interesting for us is the scale of revenue we do and what kind of impact those 2% of digitizers have. They correspond to 25% of our revenue, and they actually influence the other 60% of the engaged customer. Why is that? Because digitizers are generally either main contractors or investors who set the requirements for a project that others have to follow. Knowing that, we aligned our value proposition. We said we clearly define who does what for which customer in which process. This was, however, not an easy task. The biggest challenge was to understand what our customer wants if he doesn't understand it. And how actually this changed, we saw the emergence of the digital engineer. He emerged on the construction side company. This was a person who was collecting data from us, putting it in small use cases and testing it on the construction side. And through time, the construction companies were able to define their requirements towards us, what we need. This actually presented us with a challenge of how do we align with those requirements. And in the end, what happened? We actually employed one of the digital engineers of our customers in order to help us support and develop the technology, hardware, and skills required to do that. But not only that, adopt our processes to the correct interaction with the customer based on the customer profiles that we saw just before. I really want to thank Anna. She's one of our strongest BIM these days, actually digital managers, is actually managing a very strong team of digital engineers, and she strongly contributed to this presentation today. So this was looking into the past, looking into the results, but what about the future? I said before, two types of projects: financially driven, quality driven. What if everything was quality driven? What if there was total transparency on the construction side? Well, we have a partner that's actually working towards that. They're called Scaled Robotics. Don't be confused by the name. They started with hardware and moved into software. And these days, they actually have an AI platform in which a scan from construction site is uploaded. That platform analyzes the results and delivers automated quality control or automated progress tracking. How does that look like? The result is actually that. A model from the site, color-coded, which shows you what is built, if the structure that is built is within tolerance or without tolerance. The tolerance is to be defined by the user. What is not built, and that's it. So very simple, and in 3 days, after going around the site with a small handheld scaler, you get the result as you see up there on the screen. So there is full transparency. There is no more hiding. Imagine a situation today. A construction company builds a lift shaft. The door of the lift is offset by a couple centimeters. Nobody knows this. Nobody notices until the guy who's installing the elevator comes and sees, oh, the door is in the wrong position. Good luck to you talking to that construction company who has been already paid and has moved to the next project to come back and repair that error. So our partners, they claim that they multiply the output of a digital engineer 30 times. I cannot claim that's true or not because I don't have the experience with it. What I do know and what I do understand, that if this and similar technology provide that 100% transparency on a construction site, the process will drastically change. So in terms of scanning, for me, what is interesting is who scans what at what time. If the investor will scan the whole building in terms of managing the control, does the construction company scan the concrete after it's being poured? Or does he scan the formwork that I have to provide in order to ensure that the mistake never happens? So I hope there were some insights there for everybody. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to the questions.